Good morning, everyone. Welcome to Family Nature Club. I'm Miss Mary, Storytime Programmer at the Faulkner County Library in Conway, Arkansas, and this is part of our 2020 online summer reading program, Imagine Your Story. And I'm here in the garden behind the library, and I'm so excited because we have a beautiful Family Nature Club planned for you today. Heavy on the bee. And you guys, there's a bee right over there in the lavender. It is incredible. Well, without further ado, let's get started. We are going to read The Bee Man. What do you see on the cover of this book? I see a kid. I think I see lots and lots of bees. And a cat? What's this down here? Maybe honeycomb? Maybe so. So at the beginning of this book, there is a poem, and I love it. It's titled Bees. There wouldn't be sunflowers, wouldn't be peas, wouldn't be apples on apple trees if it weren't for fuzzy old, buzzy old bees dusting pollen from off their knees, by Eileen Fisher. The Bee Man, written by Lori Krebs, illustrated by Valeria Sis, and published by Barefoot Books. Here is my grandpa, who's known in our town as the Bee Man. Here is his jacket with zippered up hood that covers his face just the way that it should when he visits his hives as the Bee Man. Here are his gloves made of cotton and leather, protecting his hands in all kinds of weather when he tends to his hives as the Bee Man. So look, there's this coat, and he's got something over his face and is wearing gloves. Oh, and the kid is too. Why do you think they're wearing that? Let's see. Here is the beehive where all the bees sleep, tucked into a box called a shallow or deep, and then placed on a standby. The Bee Man, that's right. Oh, look at, they're like little bees coming out of them. Look at that. Huh. Here is the smoker that quiets the bees and a hive tool that opens the beehive with ease for a much closer look by the Bee Man. So I think that's the smoker right there. Do you see it? And it says that the smoker quiets the bees. I wonder how that works. Here is the queen bee who does her job well and lays tiny eggs in a six-sided cell. She's the heart of the hive, says the Bee Man. Wow, I think the queen bee, her body looks a little bit longer and a little bit bigger than the other bees. What do you think? Yeah. Whoa, that's a lot of bees. It says, here are the drone bees with big bulging eyes and a large appetite supporting their size. They mate with the queen, adds the Bee Man. Here are the workers, 10,000 or more, who gather the nectar to bring back and store in honeycomb cells for the Bee Man. Ooh, here are the house bees with swift moving wings that dry up the nectar a worker bee brings, making honey for me and who? The Bee Man. Ooh, look at that. What's going on here? I see empty jars, but what is this? Maybe the words will tell us. Here's the extractor. It's clickety-clack, removing the honey from frames on its rack and filling up jars for who? Do you remember? The Bee Man. Ooh, here's some of the honey returned to the hive. It's food for the bees to help them survive the long winter days near who? The Bee Man. Ooh, here are the bees protected from harm inside the hive, cuddled cozy and warm. So they'll be here next year, says the Bee Man. Here's the wagon filled up to the brim with bottles of honey collected by him and brought to the house by the Bee Man. That's right. Ooh, what are those? It says, here are the muffins, all warm and delicious and dripping with honey on Grandma's best dishes. I'm glad that my grandpa's the bee man. And here at the end of this book, it tells us a little bit about bees and bee colonies, worker bees, queen bees, drone bees, eggs, hives, smokers' frames, honeycomb cells, and extractors, honey, pollination, bee dancing, all those good things. There's even a recipe for Grandma's apple and honey muffins in the back. Ooh, I really like the bee man. What about you? Hi everybody, it's Miss Mary and I am in Conway in the Underhills backyard. And guess what? This guy is a real bee man. Remember that book we read, The Bee Man? I found a real bee man right here in town. So everybody, this is Richard Underhill and we're in his backyard, and look, there are bee houses back here and they're in such pretty colors. So tell us about the colors of your beehive.
Well, these are all colors that the bees can recognize. They're the colors of flowers. The bees readily go to purple flowers, to more purple flowers, to yellow flowers, to all of the different colors, blue flowers, and of course they can see the green foliage. And so these are just readily identifiable colors for the bees to see as they're returning to their home. The beehive is their home. They fly from here all over Conway. They fly for miles to find their food. Their food is nectar and pollen that comes from flowers. Their diet is flowering plants. And so they will fly for 2 to 3 miles around Conway to find the flowers, to get the nectar that they make honey out of, and then they fly back to their hive. And so it's easy to see. It's their colors they recognize.
It's like the colors to kind of bring them home. You guys, I don't live that far from this backyard, so your bees
visit your flowers.
Could be visiting my flowers. Y'all, they could be visiting the flowers at the library too. That's kind of amazing to think about that.
Yes,
the bees that live here could be drinking and feeding from the flowers all around us, right here. That is really exciting. So when did you become a bee man?
Oh, 18 years ago. We've kept bees for a long time.
Oh my goodness. So why did you choose it? What made you want to do it?
Just for fun.
Okay.
And the bees are stinging insects, so you have to be careful. If they weren't stingers, everybody would keep them as pets. But since they are stinging insects, we have to be a little careful. We wear a protective suit. We protect our eyes with a veil so that we don't get stung by the bees.
Yeah.
But they're a gentle creature if we are careful around them. If we don't disturb them, they will not bother us.
Okay. So what was this? We're wearing these coverings over our heads, and what did you call this again?
A veil. That's a beekeeper's veil.
Okay. So about how many bees do you have here, do you think?
Each hive, each tall stack is a beehive. It contains a colony, which is a family of bees. That is about 60,000 bees. All of them are workers, thousands of worker bees, and one queen bee in each hive. The queen bee is the mother of the hive. She lays the eggs that makes all of the baby bees.
Oh, so do your bees make honey?
Yes, they do. Yes, they do. The bees collect nectar, which is the sugar water that you may have tasted from the center of honeysuckle plants. They bring that sugar water in and they convert it into honey. And honey is the only food that humans eat that's produced by an insect. Honeybees are insects.
I never thought about that before. That's pretty interesting. So what do you do with the honey that your bees make?
We give it to our friends. We can sell it at the farmer's market. Everybody likes honey.
Yeah, I really, really, really like honey. Well, how do you, is it hard to get the honey out of the hives?
No, the bees store their honey in the top portion of the hive. The queen bee lives in the lower portion of the hive with her developing baby bees. That's called the brood, but they store their honey in the top of the hive.
Okay.
And we take the top off, of the hive, and we remove frames. The honeycomb is on frames, and we take those frames out of the hive, and that has the honey on it.
Hey, that was in the book we read too about the bee man, the frames and taking the honey out. That's pretty cool. Oh man. What else, what do you think we should know about bees?
We should know that they are beneficial insects. They help us produce our food, our fruit and vegetables in our backyard gardens are produced by the honeybees and some of the other insects pollinating our gardens. This produces 1/3 of our diet. 1 bite out of 3 that we eat comes from the bees through pollination. Honeybees are pollinators.
Bees sound like they're very important.
They are.
Wow. Did you realize that bees were so important for helping us have the food that we eat? 1 in 3 bites. Those bees work really hard.
They do.
Mr. Underhill's gonna pull off the top frame of this bee house for us. It's very exciting. He's got a special tool he's using. He's being very, very careful. I can hear lots of birds out here today. So he's hooking the end of his tool in top of like this. You see those wooden slats? I guess those are the frames. Okay. Oh, he's going to show it to us.
This is a frame. The bees make honeycomb on the frames, and these are the bees. This is the honey. The liquid portion is honey that they are ripening, and once it is ripened, then they cap it off with beeswax, and then it is ready for us to share some of their honey. We collect the honey after it is capped like this.
Oh, look at all those bees.
Working on the honey, you can see they have their heads in the cells. They are making the honey.
Okay. Wow, that is so incredible. That is amazing. Those bees are beautiful.
Aren't they?
They really are.
Do you want to touch one?
No.
Can
I?
Yes, you can gently touch them.
I can feel them. They're so soft. Wow. Look, you guys, I touched the bees and nothing happened. Everything was okay. So do they mostly go in and out of the hives from that spot at the bottom?
Yes, that's their entrance.
Okay. That's Rita Peace. About how much time do you spend on your bees, like in a month or a week or a day?
Visit them once a week.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow.
Would like to do it more, but it's best for them to be bees and not to be intruded upon.
Oh,
and
okay.
You see, I did all my work from behind the hive.
Yeah.
So we don't stand directly in their flight path. so that they can come and go. We work behind them.
Okay, that was really important. Learning all sorts of new things. Wow. So they're up off the ground too.
Right, up off the ground so that there's ventilation, air flows. It helps keep the bees healthy. Also, it keeps the small animals from attacking them. Even in the city, we have skunks that come and like to attack beehives, and so this helps keep them away.
Why would a skunk attack a beehive?
Skunks like to eat bees, and so we even smelled a skunk here in the yard yesterday, right here in the city, and so the skunks will come at night and scratch on the hive to make the bees come out, and then they will eat the bees. So just raising them up helps prevent that.
Wow. I had no idea that skunks like to eat bees at all. Well, of course, if we're talking about bees, we need to do some bee rhymes. Yeah, bees. So, I'm going to set you down, bees. Is that okay? I'm going to show them the first one. Okay. This one is called Here is the Beehive. So you're going to make a fist and you're going to say, here is the beehive, but where are all the bees? And you're going to cover your fist with the other hand and say, hidden away where no one can see. But look! And you hold your hand over your eyes like you're looking. Here they come out of the hive. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And you can end with a tickle. Let's do it one more time. Here is a beehive, but where are the bees? Hidden away where no one can see. But look, here they come out of the hive. 1, 2, 3, 4,